Okay, so good morning, guys. Welcome back. We will continue with our Docker session. So today is a Docker Day-10 session, and today the date is 2nd of your first Jan 2026, and the timing is morning 8:03 a.m. IST. So, guys, today is very important because we'll be covering many of the core concepts in Docker. So, we started with learning the Docker file, right? If you see my if you go through the previous day 9 notes, right, you would see that actually we started with continue with the Docker file, and we try to a little bit explore more on the Dockerfile instructions, right? So we have so many Dockerfile instructions, like from is there, and also run is there, and also like we saw that there is something like add and copy is there. Like basically we try to go through it, and at the end of the session, in the last session, right, where we try to understand about like how to write or how to write the Spring Pet Clinic Docker file basically. But we didn't execute it, I remember, because I think we had some disk space issue, right? Because of which I told that in the next session, I'm going to launch one more Docker server like this, and then like where I'll be having more storage. So I created this server, guys, and then this server is having some 20 GB of storage which I used, which I created it, and it is a T2 dot micro itself, so it is fine, but only have to increase the storage size. That's all. Okay, so when you are practicing all these examples, I would recommend that actually you can go with the T2 micro as an instance type, but the storage you take it, well, you take it around 20 or 25 GB, because you need more disk storage for for keeping all the images whatever you are building it out. Okay, so that's the reason in the last session, that is in a day 9 session, guys, I couldn't build out because of the display issue. So today, what we're going to do today, we'll continue from there itself, because we were learning about all the Docker file instructions, right? So these are the Docker file instructions which we will be continuing in today also. But what we'll be learning today, that we will be continuing from where we had left on the day 9 session. So day 9 session, we had built out a Spring Pet Clinic application, right? Today also, what we'll do, we'll try to build out, we'll try to complete the lab access on doing the how to build a Docker file where you can run your Spring Pet cleaning inside your Docker image actually. So that is what we are going to learn today. And apart from that, we are going to learn many other instructions in today's session, guys. So today is going to be very quite interesting session, because we will be understanding about like what kind of an image you need to select it while building an image, right? And also, is there any way of optimizing the image? So we'll just get one step ahead and try to optimize the image size also, because when you try to build the Docker file, you will see that the image size like will be larger actually. So but in the real time, when you work on the organization, you'll you'll make sure that the image size should always get reduced actually, right? And that is also one of the requirement. And also from the security point of view also, when you are building an image, right, that image shouldn't have any kind of vulnerability issues. So today's session, we are going to check like what kind of a vulnerability issue you might face when you're building when you're building an image, as well as what you will do, that you will try to also understand about how to reduce the image size also. Is it clear, guys? So that would be today's agenda. So we will continue with the Spring Pet Clinic itself actually. Now, so what we did, guys, basically we are building a Java application that uses the something known as Spring Boot actually. Okay, so guys, now when we have a Java application, right? Basically, what happened, right? When you take a Java application, you take any Java application, you can build that application, right? Usually, build means you need to create a package out of it. You need to build that application. You need to build the application. You need to create a package out of it, right? For doing so, what happened, right? You need to use some kind of a build systems or build servers, or else you need to have a build environment actually to doing that. So you will get a build environment with the help of one of the tool known as a Maven tool. So basically, Maven is a one of the build tool, like where using a Maven tool, you will be able to build any kind of a Java based application. Am I clear, sir? Now the point here is that actually that you have a Maven as well as you have some other tools also, like Gradle is there. Earlier we used to had an Ant actually. Before Maven, we had an Ant, but Ant has a lot of disadvantage. That's the reason Maven build tool was designed, and most of the developers they started using the Maven build tool for doing all kind of a build operation. It means that during the build operation, they create a package out of it, and that package can any format. It could be a jar file, it could be a war file, or it could be an ER file. It could be an any extension. And also you can even create a kind of a zip file also if you want it. You can even create a zip file, or else you can even create a tarball also. Anything, whatever you require, the way you want to build the package, right? You can able to build the package with the help of a Maven tool. So in our upcoming session, guys, we will be learning more about these build systems, how to build a Java application using Maven and Gradle. We'll also try to see how to build a Python-based application, how to build a Node.js-based application. Like that, we're going to see all those build systems also in our upcoming session. Okay. Now, the thing is that, so usually what happens, guys, when we build any Java-based application, you're going to create a jar file, right? Now, how you can able to run this jar file? Basically, you to run your jar file, you need an application server. Say, for example, you take a Apache Tomcat server, you will be able to run your application like in your Apache Tomcat server actually. So this is one of the like application server which is there. Similarly, there are many application servers are there. Like for example, you have Oracle WebLogic cluster is there. You can able to deploy your application there, or else you have WebSphere. IBM's WebSphere is there, right? And also your like Microsoft IaaS server is there. So these are all the application servers, guys. Now these application servers, all these applications are very huge application servers actually. It means that like you need to first create this application servers, and then like after that like you need to do a lot of configuration thing stuffs. You need to enable all kind of boot up scripts, boot up properties. You need to enable it, and also finally you need to do the changes in the startup script so that when you post deployment of your application onto this application server, you need to start that application also, right? So you need to do a lot of configuration changes also. And plus this all these application servers, some are open source, some are license based. In the organization, if you go and if you see the application servers, if you are trying to go with the Oracle WebLogic cluster, it involves all kind of a licensing aspect. You need to go with the licensing cost, and you need to get the license, go and set up this whole servers, and then you can finally go and deploy this application. So this was something like this was something which was this was a practice which was followed from very long time. Even today also in many organizations they are still using a lot of huge application servers where the applications are running. Now, but our point is that in today's world, when we are working on a microservices where we are developing all the application as a microservices, right? I mean, taking this microservices and going and deploying in this huge application servers, like it is not really required, right? It's not really required because just running a small application or microservice under such huge servers, right? It's an overkill actually. So hence what happened, right? Most of the languages, right? For example, you have a Java language, right? So most of these languages, they come up with their own framework actually. So that framework, one of the framework is something like a Spring Boot framework. So what the Spring Boot framework says that Spring Boot framework says that you can able to build an application. Suppose you are having if you're having a Java application, along with the Java application, you are trying to build that application as a with the help of the Spring Boot. Actually, you will be able to run the application, okay, without any application server. It means that this Spring Boot framework itself, it will provide a lightweight server actually. It's going to provide a lightweight server. So this framework itself will provide a lightweight server. With that lightweight server, you will be able to run your Java application or your jar application. You remember long time or some time back, like I just compiled a program, I just compiled a Java application on the Spring Boot Clinic, a Spring Pet Clinic, sorry, Spring Pet Clinic, some version like 3 dot something, 3.5 something dot 0 dot jar. You remember I tried to run this application by just simply calling Java jar and provide this jar file, right? This. Now you might ask that Rajesh, we didn't have any kind of an application servers in your Windows or in your Windows. How this application actually started running? So because guys, when we try to use the Spring Boot technique application, basically we try to use the Spring Boot technique because it uses the Spring Boot framework. Right. So with the help of a Spring Boot framework, what happened? You got a jar file, but the jar file itself, when you're starting that application, when you're running this application with the help of a java-jar command with the jar options, and then you're providing the jar file, automatically what happened that this also creates a server, a lightweight server while running, right? While running, or when the application is running, it creates it creates a lightweight server actually. On that lightweight server, on that lightweight server, what happened, right? Your SPC, this jar file will get executed. It gets run actually. So this is something very much interesting, guys, because you need not to really have any kind of server, right? So hence what happened that you can able to run your application. Now, why I'm saying all these things? Because guys, because when you're trying to create a Docker container, so Docker container also why we are creating, because we want to host the application, or we want to host the application and run that application. So typically what happened, all these applications which are built, those are kind of a microservice actually, which we are building and which we are running. Now, when we are trying to run a microservices inside a Docker container, of course, we need to have an application server also, where within that application server, the microservice can run. But since what happened, right, we don't need, since the language itself will provide some kind of a framework for you. In that case, what happened, guys, you need not to really have any kind of a server inside your Docker container. So the Docker container, when you are creating a Docker container, you can just directly run your Java Spring Boot application without any applications are to be there, because the Java Spring Boot application, the Spring Boot itself will provide you a framework where it itself will create a lightweight server. On that lightweight server, what happened that you will be running your Java application. So this makes very life simple, because that you can able to run all your application in a very lightweight container, right? And you don't need any kind of a big application servers to be present in the Docker container itself actually, right? So it's not only with the Java actually, which provides many other languages are coming up with their own framework. You know about the Python, right? Python has its own Python has its own Django framework actually, like where you can build an application everything, and you can run application everything. Similarly, the Microsoft also provides you the ISS itself actually provides it also provides you the lightweight actually, a lightweight kind of a application server it provides actually. Right. So all the languages, guys, what happened? Right, they have come up with their own lightweight kind of a server. So because they have developed a kind of a framework, with the framework itself, what happened? Like you can be able to run your application, which you are building it out. Is it fine, Navin, till here? Navin, did you understood the context?
Yes, Rajesh, yeah.
Right.
I,
So we need not to really worry to have any kind of an application server as of now. We can able to run your microservices, simple microservices, everything, because that language itself will provide you a lightweight server. So within that server itself, we can able to run it. Right. So if you ask me, do you have to really understand about how the Spring Boot works, Rajesh? No, not really required. It's not our headache to understand about what Spring Boot works actually, what is its framework is all about, because it's a programming language. So because a developer will know all those things, usually like he will able to know, do it everything. But only what is that we will be interested. We will be interested about the our build environment, how to compile the application and how to build a package, and also we'll be concerned more about how to create a Docker file and how to create a container actually. This is the DevOps engineer's task actually, right? We need not to really learn more about the Spring Boot, but yeah, in a high level, yeah, we should know about it actually. For example, if you go here in the Google and just say Spring Framework. Now, guys, can you see this is a Spring Framework actually, right? This is a Spring Framework, and they describe about what is the Spring Framework is all about. Now, if you go here about the Spring Boot actually, so you could see that the Spring Boot makes it easy to create a standalone, a production grade Spring based application that you can run. You can just run it. It means that you need not to really have any kind of an application server, because the Spring Boot itself will provide you like it provide your production grade Spring based application that can run it. Right. So that's what happened, right? Like we will be using this Spring Boot always, and Spring Boot is very much quite popular in building any kind of a Java-based applications, right? And many companies or many organizations, they are still using the Spring Boot framework. Yes, for getting all those features about like getting the application run under that particular framework. Am I clear, sir? Okay,
Yes,
good.
Rajesh. Yeah.
Okay, now guys, what we are going to do today, we are going to we are going to learn about how to write a Docker file for your Spring Pet Clinic. So this is one of the open source project, right? Open source, can say open source, Java Spring Boot project. Okay, which many people use it for some kind of an experimental purpose, right? So we can use this same project for our experimental purposes actually, right? So that we will be learning about how to build a Spring Pet Clinic and how to deploy this application. So we have been seeing all these things from very many days actually, right? It's not like that we don't know about this. We know about this, but usually what happened, right? What we do basically, we compile this application and then like we try to create a package out of it, and then we run this application. We are aware of all these things, right? But what we're going to do understand today is that actually we will try to take the same application today, and what we will do that we will try to write a Docker file for it, Docker file, and then like in the Docker file, what happened, right? We would be using the Spring Pet Clinic. I'll just say small in a small nomenclature. I'll use Spring Pet Clinic. So I will be using the Spring Pet Clinic code itself. In that code itself, what happened, right? I will be doing all kind of a build activity, and then like I will be writing a Docker file in the same Spring Pet Clinic code itself. There itself I'll be writing, because that is an actual way of writing the code. It means that whenever you have a Docker file, now my question comes, Rajesh, where you are going to keep the Docker file? Usually in the organization, when you work on a project, where exactly the Docker file will be there. Actually, guys, the Docker file will always be there in your source code. It means that whenever any kind of an application is designed, so the application source code, wherever the developer keeps, right, under the same source code itself, you are going to keep your Docker file. All this is what we're doing, that we are writing Docker file somewhere in some folder, and then like we are trying to write a Docker instruction, and then we are trying to do a Docker build command to build that as an image. But in actual reality, what happens, the Docker file will always be there in the source code itself, right? So now what we will do, guys, we will go to the Google. We have to do certain experiment today, guys, because we will be learning some of the things today. So what I will do, that I will try to go and I'll just say Spring Pet Clinic GitHub, right? So this is the Spring Pet Clinic, source code, guys. This is Spring Pet Clinic code actually, right? Which I want to use it. So let me log into my GitHub also, github.com, into my account. So mail Rajesh SR is my account actually, right? So what I will do, guys, I will try to clone this application, so that I will be not clone, sorry, fork this application, so that I will be trying to do some changes into the source code itself. So for that, you need to do a fork actually. Okay, so you could see that if you go over here and if you just fork it, so it will fork to your account itself. So that is Mail Rajeshari. Okay, I will give something here. Mail Rajeshari Jan. Yeah, Jan 2026. Actually, I will give like this. I'm going to create like this, and then come down here and just fork it. So fork instance, what happened, guys? You are just trying to, fork is trying to take a copy of your existing Spring Pet Clinic into your account actually, right? So you could see that Spring Pet Clinic Jan 2026, it is forked from this Spring Boot / Spring Pet Clinic project actually, right? So you just try to do a forked from the existing Spring Pet Clinic project actually, right? Because I will be doing all the changes. I cannot go and sit onto the same project and do it, because it will not allow. Hence, what happened? I have to fork it and I have to start doing the changes into this source code. Am I clear, sir?
Yes, Rajesh. Yeah.
Okay, good. Now, what we're going to do, guys? So we know very well that when you have a Spring Pet Clinic, when you have Spring Pet Clinic, it needs a certain things it requires. Like, what are the things which is required? It requires a Java to be installed, Java to be installed in your system. So say for example, Java 17 version is required. So that is nothing but the OpenJDK 17 version is required. As well as what happened, right? You need a build tool to be build tool is required, which we use, the build tool is a Maven tool. So Maven tool is required. So Maven tool basically like you can use version above, right, greater than or equal to greater than. You can use something above greater than 3.8 or 3.8.8 or 3.8 version. You can use it actually. So in my Windows machine, guys, if you go over here, if you open the terminal, this is my Windows terminal. Right here, what happened? I have installed the Java already. Java is already installed in my system. If I try to execute the command Java -FN version, you could see that Java 21 is there. But my requirement is the Java 17. That is fine. You can even run with the Java 21 also. Okay, you can run. You can, I mean, you can compile the application. Okay, and also what happened? Like if you try to run an MVN Maven, that's a command, right? You could see that Maven Apache 3.9.9 is there. Okay, this is also fine for me, right? Sorry, 3.9.9 is there, right? This is also fine for me. It means that I will be able to compile my Spring Pet Clinic application even with the Maven 3.9.9.9 also. But minimum I'm saying 3.8 should be there. Okay, so this is fine. So this looks good. It means that I'll be able to, I'll be able to, build my application, Spring Pet Clinic application. Now, what I will do, guys, actually, because I have everything here in my Windows terminal, I'm having the Java as well as I'm having Apache Maven also, but that is fine. But to run it, suppose after post building, I want to run means I want to create a Docker container. So does my Windows has a Docker container or does my Windows have a Docker installed? No. So my Windows doesn't have a Docker. So what I will do that I will be able to just compile and show you how you can able to do a build activity. Okay, but whatever I want to do, want to write a Docker file, what I will do, I'll go to my server here. In this server, what I will do that I will try to install the Maven, I'll try to install the Java, and also I'll also have a Docker also here, right? So that what happened that I can do all kind of build activity, everything over here in this server also. Right, just to understand it, what you can do that I'll go and I'll try to create one directory mkdir. I'll just say Spring Pet Clinic, okay, and I'll go cd to Spring Pet Clinic. Okay, and then what happened? I will try to do a git clone and come over here, go to your Spring Pet Clinic, right? So this is the fork one which you just recently forked. Go to the code, just copy this HTTPS URL, right? Come over here and just do a git clone. Okay, guys. You have cloned it actually. So one more thing, guys, very important that when you are trying to do any kind of a changes, so basically what happened, you need to do a pull and push activity, right? In the Git actually, for that you need a kind of a token is required actually, right? So username is mail Rajesh SRE in my case, but I need to generate a token. I don't think that I have any kind of a token. Let me do one thing. Let me go and generate the token. So to generate a token is like a password actually, right? So what I will do that I will go over here and I will try to go to the settings. So you have to go to your account, go to the settings and come down here. You have something as a developer settings. Click on this. Here you have something like personal access token. Okay, you can go with the token classic. Click on it. And then here what happened, right? You need to go to the generate new token classic. Okay, it will ask you to verify the email ID. Yes, I verified the email ID. It has sent some a code actually. Let me go to my Gmail to just see whether I have got any kind of a code. Yeah. So this is the code. Okay, I'll copy this, come over here, I'll paste it and just try to verify it. So here what happened, you are trying to create a personal token, classic one, right? That is what it is required. It's like a password actually, right? And I need to give some kind of a name actually. I'll give anything, project one, something I can give, or else I can give Spring Pet Clinic Docker 2026, something I'll create it. Right, and it says that your token will be expired after 30 days, or if you can give more than that, you can even give no expiry also. It's based on your requirement. I'll give 90 days. So 90 days is sufficient for me. And what is the scope for for what reason you're using this token? So or to kind of manage all the repos, and all the workflow, write permission, delete the package, right? You'll try to select all these options, guys, so that it is better that you create a token so that you can do all this operation with the help of the token actually, right? So just try to select all the things. Most of the things are required for us. That's the reason I'm selecting all these options actually. And finally, you could see that actually you will see that you have generated the token. So generate, click on the generate token. It will generate a key actually. This is the key which you need it. So you can copy it, and what you can do that you can able to keep somewhere else. So this is a your GitHub token actually. So the username is Mail Rajesh Sari in my case. In your case, whatever you create with the account with that name, and the token is nothing but your this is the token actually. So this token is important, guys. You have to always keep this token with you, right? Because this acts like a password. Because whenever you are trying to do any kind of a git pull or git push or git pull or push operation, right? From now, it expects you to provide a username and the password. So you need to give the username Mail Rashid Sari in my case, and the token which I generated, I need to give this token as a password. Then only you can able to do all these operations. Is it fine, Naveen?
Yes, Rajesh. Yeah.
Okay, good. So this we created, it's good. So we have a token with us now. Fine. Now what I will do, guys, in this is the Windows actually. So what I'll do, I have cloned it already, right, with help of git clone. If I try to do a dir, you could see that you are having this Spring Pet Clinic Jan 2026. Let me get inside this Spring Pet Clinic folder. And then when I try to do a dir, you can see the whole folder structure. So whatever the folder structure you have right here, if you go back here to your account, and if you go back to your repository here, repository, right, Spring Pit Clinic, this is a repository. So this is the whole source you cloned it actually, right? This is a whole, you can see that the same file structure actually, or the folder structures what we have it. Okay. So now what I will do, guys, I have to go and compile it actually. I have to go and compile it. So before going and compile it, what I will do that, let me be as it is in this. What I will do that, I will try to open a Visual Studio Code. I'll just say code dot and say enter. You could see that you will be able to open your, right? This is a Spring Pet Clinic, right? And here what happened, guys, this is an actual source code actually. It means that in an organization, you will see your source code will be something like this actually. So since this is an open source project, Spring Pet Clinic, this is fine. But in the actuality, if you're working in an organization, you will also get the source code like this itself actually. Right now, what happened, right? You say that, okay, Rajesh, now I need to write a Docker file where I'm going to create a Docker file. So, guys, you have to write it here itself, actually. You have to write it here, the Docker file. So, how you're going to write it? So, you can just go and click on this. You have to be under this folder, and you have to just go and create a new file. See, the file name should be the same name like Docker file. So now the question comes, which I told earlier that Rajesh, where we are going to create Docker file. So guys, we are going to create a Docker file being inside the source code only. Because here itself what happened, that you are doing all kind of a build operation. Here only you are trying to create a Docker file, and in the Docker file you'll be writing a Docker instruction, so that when you try to do a Docker build image, you are going to create an image out of it actually. This is how the DevOps engineer does it actually. He will try to do a clone of the original source code which the developer has written from the GitHub repository, and then like he will try to clone it, and then he will try to write a Docker file here itself. This is what the practice has been, it's been done in all the organization actually. Am I clear, sir? Right now, yeah, we will start writing it. But meanwhile, what I will do here, I will go here in my Spring Pectonic folder. So you have all this folder. So let me go and compile this application so that I need to create a build, or I need to build a package out of it. So for that, I will be running a command mvn clean package. This is the command which will be running for you to create a package. So guys, this is going to take some time. We have to wait for certain time to get this package created. So if you try to run this command, you could see that it starts, right, it starts compiling, and it's going to download many of this application, many of the important folders, many of the other dependencies going to download. Let it take actually. Meanwhile, what I will do that, I will go to my server, this one. I've already made the server up. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me log into this servers. So copying the public IP, go over here and try to open a new terminal, and go to the download folders where you have the pem key. I'll just say ssh-i my pem my key.pem ubuntu at the rate, give the public IP address of this. So log into this server. right? So what you will do basically, you will first do a sudo apt update. This is the first command you will run it. So guys, here also in Linux machine, in this Linux machine, I have a Docker installed. If you try to go and execute a Docker info command, you could see that the Docker is available, right? I need not to install the Docker. Fine. If I try to do a Docker image ls, you could see that nothing is there. If I try to do a Docker container ls or Docker ps, so no containers are running, right? So it's everything is empty, nothing is there. Fine. Now what I will do basically, I will try to, like I will try to install certain packages. Like for example, I need to install the Maven, I need to install the Java, I have to install, even I have to install the Git also. So for that, what I will do, I'll just say sudo apt install. I'll just say open JDK. I will use a 17 itself, hyphen JDK. I need a Git also, and I need a even Maven also. So I'll just install all these three packages in a single command line. Okay, open JDK hyphen 17 JDK, Git I'm installing, and Maven also. Let it get installed, right? So meanwhile, I'll go here. So in my, what we are going to do, guys. So to run Spring Boot application, we require Java JDK. I'm just saying 17 version, right? And a jar file is created, right? And a jar file is created. It means that you're going to create a jar file out of this Spring Boot application. Am I clear, sir? And also we install the Maven also. Let it go. So you could see that, guys, Maven installed, Java is installed, right? So how to check it? Just say Java hyphen version. Okay, Java is installed 17 version. Maven hyphen FN version. See, Maven 3.8.7 is installed, but that is fine for me because my Maven version should be 3.8, above 3.8 version. So anyhow, I have this 3.8. So it means that I'm able to compile my application. Fine. And also Git is also there. Git also I've installed it, right? All the things are there. Fine. So now what I will do, guys, I will try to create the same thing what I did in Windows here. So let us go back to the Windows and try to see whether whatever the build package I'm building, see, I'm able to build the application. Could you see that you got this message something like build success, right? And you could see that after building the application, you could see that it has created one target folder here, right? A target folder here. Under target folder here, can you see Spring Pet Clinic 4.0.0 snapshot.jar got created? Yeah, this is what the package got. This is the jar file which got created. So always what happened, right? When you try to go over here, you could see that actually that when you try to go over here, when you try to do a build, basically when you try to do go a build, basically you could see that there's a target folder. Earlier there was no target folder. Now it has created a target folder. Under target folder, you could, if you come down, you could see the springpetclinic.jar file got created. This is your actual jar file or the compiled jar file which you will be running actually. If you see it, the path, you could see that Spring Pet Clinic and the target under the Spring Boot Clinic. If you try to do a Maven clean, it will remove this entire folder itself, target folder itself. But since I'm building it, yeah, I got this target as a folder. So inside the target folder, you have this Spring Pet Clinic jar file with some version hyphen 4.0.0 hyphen snapshot like this is a naming convention which has created it. Okay, but anyhow, I got this jar file, right? So now my question is that Rajesh, I want to take this jar file and I have to place inside inside a Docker container image, and then I have to build an image. So for that you need to write the Docker file actually, right? So meanwhile, can I do the same operation everything in this my Ubuntu server, because ultimately I have to run my Docker container everything in this Ubuntu server itself, right? In the server where Docker is installed, right? So for that, what I did, I installed all the packages, right? What are the packages I installed, guys? I installed all this Java package, Git and Maven, everything I installed it, right? So let me don't think, let me try to create a same directory, mkdir spc directory, Spring Pet Clinic, go inside the Spring Pet Clinic, and I try to do a same Git clone. And what I will do here, guys, I will try to go to my source code, go over here, just go to the code, copy this HTTPS URL, come over here, and then paste this URL and say enter. So you have did the same operation, right? You did you cloned it. You go into the CD to the Spring Pet Clinic Jan 2026. Here, if you do an ls, you got all these folder structures. Now what I will do that I'll just say maven mvn clean package. The same command you're running here also. So this will also start building. It will take time actually. This will take time. Okay, let it goes actually. Meanwhile, what I will do, guys, I will come over here and I'll start writing a Docker file for it because right now I got the Spring Pit cleaning, right? I'll be able to write a Docker file. Now, this is a Java-based application, right? You can, when you want to build a Docker file, basically you have to use some kind of a from instruction and you have to give a base image actually. Now my question comes, what is the base image I have to use it? Shall I use the Ubuntu base image? 24.04, yes, I can use that brace image also because but Ubuntu itself is a very big image actually because it itself is an Ubuntu, it itself is an operating system image. So do I have to really use it the Ubuntu image? Yeah, you can use it, but as of now it is not required because in our last session we saw that there is some images there, also open JDK image is there, right? Using the open JDK image also I can able to run my application. So shall we go to the hub.docker.com? Yes, go to the hub.docker.com. Go to your hub.docker.com and try to search, do you have anything known as OpenJDK? So guys, you have this OpenJDK image, so you can use this as a base image to run your Java application, right? Right. Now, if you can use it directly like this also, okay? Like for example, if you go over here, you can use directly like this, like OpenJDK. I'm using the colon 17, like this. You can use it actually, right? You can use like this actually. Open JDK. See, you could see that if you come down, Open JDK colon 17 version, you can use like this actually. But let me do one thing. Let me do one thing. Let me see here something like here you have something like a deprecation notice there. There are some kind of an images are there where you can use it, but these are deprecated, and it is saying that it's recommended not to use these images because this is going to be deprecated. But still, okay. Let me do one thing. Let me try to use this itself as instead of using OpenJDK. Let me use this deprecated one or which is going to be deprecated one, right? Let me use something like let me use that Amazon Corate, right? This is what I need this image. Okay, Amazon Corota is there. And if you come down, do you have anything as like a 17 version which I needed? Yeah, you have 17 version. Yeah. So it means that I can use this also as an image. Let me copy this or let me go here and uh, let me go here or you can even can go with the latest also, right? Like Amazon Corota is there, right? So this is what I need it actually. So copy it, come over here. I don't use OpenJDK. I'll use it later for some other example. Let me use a Corota. So I'm just trying to explore if I can use any other images apart from OpenJDK or Ubuntu. I'm just trying to explore guys. That's all, right? And I'll just say 17 version. This is the version which already exists. Am I clear, sir? So now let me do so give some label for it. So I'll just say label is something like project is equal to something like learning. Okay, and I'll just say label. I'll give author is equal to something Rajesh. This is what I will give it. Okay, and now you know that actually that I want to take this Pet Clinic 4.0 hyphen snapshot, and I need to copy inside it actually inside this image. For that, what you do basically, you have one command, you have a Docker instructions add actually. So when you say add, what you where is it exactly Pet Clinic? It is there in the target folder, right? So right, I have to copy to the target from the target folder, right? I want to copy this Spring Pet Clinic. So this is Spring Pet Clinic, right? Let me copy, not rename. Let me copy this whole thing. I need this. Okay, I'll come over here and I'll paste it like this, right? Where you are copying, where you want to copy. Do you want to copy from your target? This is a source. Target is what? Destination is what? Slash. I will copy it here only. So under this Amazon Corridor, right? Under the slash, I'm copying it actually. Am I clear, sir? Till here? And after that,
Yes,
what I'm
Rajesh.
doing that, yeah, what I'm doing that here, I need to expose because we know the Spring Technique always works on a port number 8080. So I'll just use expose and I'll just say 8080. This is a port number. Now, if you go to your Dockerfile instruction, Dockerfile reference documentation. If you go to a Dockerfile reference, you see, guys, there is something like an expose is there. We already saw even in our last session also, which describes which port your application is listening on. If you go to the expose, basically what happened, right? You can use either expose, give the port number and give slash TCP or slash UDP, right? You can even give like this also. Usually what happened, most of our applications which you are building today, right, they work on the TCP itself, TCP protocol itself. Very rarely, I could see that some application works using the UDP protocol. So I don't use it actually. Either you can just say expose 8080, that itself is fine. It itself means that it is TCP only. But still, if you want to explicitly mention TCP, you can say slash TCP. So that's what this document says, that you can even give like this as a slash TCP. And at last, UDP also can give, but it depends again. Your application, if it is using UDP, you have to give UDP. But as I said, right, most of the application, they by default use TCP. There is no application I find where it uses UDP, right? For some kind of a streaming application, you might see like a UDP, but that is a rare one, right? So hence what happened, let it be as it is. Let it be 8080 slash TCP itself actually. Am I clear, sir? Okay, good. Okay, now the thing is that actually that, guys, okay, now this is what the image I'm using it actually. Fine. But the thing is that I want, but the thing is that I want to really check, I want to really see, Rajesh, whether we can use this image. Yes, definitely you can use this image actually. Even you can use OpenJDK image also. But I want to see whether is there any kind of a slim images are available, right, with your within your hub.docker. Are there any kind of a slim based images are there which we can use it for our requirement? Yes, we will have to learn about this, all those slim images also. So let us also try to parallelly understand about what are slim images. Slim image is something like a lightweight image, guys. Like for example, you have a Ubuntu image actually, Ubuntu 24.04. This is the image, guys, actually. So if you try to do a, oh God, it got stuck there. Usually it didn't stuck actually. It shouldn't stuck actually, because if it stucks actually, if it stucks actually, then it means that actually the server configuration is not high. So whatever the server configuration which I choose here, right? I use a T2.micro, plus I have used a storage of something 20 GB if I'm not wrong. Say 20 GB. I think that is not sufficient for it. That is what it got stuck. Otherwise, it should go. Let's see if it is not still going further. Then I think it's not going further, guys. It got stuck actually, right? So I think that it will not work actually, right? According to my knowledge, it will not work. So I have to do the repetition of certain things now. What I will do that I have to quickly go and launch one instance. Okay, I will just say like dummy server, and I'll choose the Ubuntu. Okay. And instead of going with the T2.micro or something, let me go with the T2.medium. I'll go with this T2.medium server. Okay, instance, and let me select the my key. Go to the edit. You can go with the any kind of a subnet. Actually, you can go with the subnet 1A. Yes, anything, and then go with the select with the existing security groups. Okay, default one, and here you can give something like 25 GB, something like that, more than what is required. But I'm using T2.medium, so right, this is what it is. Just go and launch the instance. So let it come up, guys, because I think that it will not work actually. It got stuck, right? You could see that it got stuck actually. So without this, we'll not be able to proceed further with our lab exercise actually. So I think I have to redo again, but we'll do it quickly actually. So let me close this thing. I don't need it actually. So what I'll do that I will go over here in this dummy server, right? There's no need of this server. I'll go and I'll terminate this instance actually. It's not really required now for me, right? So this is going instance. So I can use this T2.medium. So guys, for doing this exercise, you can use T2.medium or large. It will cost you a little bit, but anyhow, for you to practice, yeah, definitely you need the servers actually. So let me go and log into this server. So let me click on this dummy servers, copy the public IP, go over here. Go to the terminal, go to the downloads folder, do an ss-i my key, and Ubuntu at the rate give the public IP address of this that dummy server. So let's see whether it has come up or not. It is still in the initialized state, guys. That's what it is not allowing. Yeah, now it has come up. Log into the server, right? Permission denied. Why it's permission denied? Once again. So guys, let it come up actually. I think it has to come up. It is still showing status as initialized. Yeah, I know it's kind of a kill actually, but anyhow, that's fine. Still, it has not come up. Usually it will not take that much time. And let me check what is the key I've used here. My key only, right? That's the only key I have. Okay, let me check again. Do I have a, I will be able to log in on why it is showing permission denied. Okay.
Maybe some problems with security group, Rajesh.
No, no, second group's the same second group I'm using, right? I don't have any problem with the second group actually. Here, what it's saying that permission denied public key something. Oh God, what happened, man? SSH-I, Ubuntu. Oh, the spelling is wrong. See, this is what my key UBUNTU at the rate you the public IP. Yeah, right. I'm able to log in it. Right. So quickly do the sudo apt update and sudo apt install open jdk-17-jdk space git package and space maven package and try to run this. Okay. So, sometime you will face such issues also, guys. No worries. You can able to do it again in little bit higher server, right? So that actually, but please make sure that you have to do this all this lab access for you to get the complete understanding about like how exactly we will be able to build this application, how we are able to write a Docker file. All such things you will be able to understand very well if you do this lab exercises, right? Just watching the video and just trying to understand through video, yeah, that is one part. Fine, understanding is it's always required conceptually, but when you want to get a complete knowledge or understanding, you have to do this lab exercise, right? Don't think that by watching video I'm understanding everything. No, that's not a case. You have to always practice. So Naveen, today's class it might little bit extend because I will be doing showing so many things. So just bear with today's session, right? Bear with today's a little bit timing I'll be using. So
Yeah,
Java
okay,
hyphen
Rajesh. Yeah.
yeah, thank you, man. Java hyphen version and Maven hyphen FN version. So all these things are installed. Just I'm trying to verify once whether all these are installed or not, right? So let me do one thing. Let me go back to my Spring Pet Clinic. Let me copy this URL, come over here, and just say git clone and give it the whole URL. I'm not creating any directory, guys, because when I clone it, I'm not creating mkdir SPC and all. When I'm trying to do git clone, it itself will create a folder, right? So that is sufficient for me. You could see that if I try to do an LS, you could see that the Spring Pet Clinic is there, right? And one more thing, because that this is a new server, I have to install the Docker also. Let me take the pain of installing the Docker also. So get.docker.com, right? This is the URL where you are going to get the commands for installing the Docker. So you have to use a curl command. Come over here and try to run this command. Sorry, try to run this command, right? When I try to do an ls, yeah, then you have to go and install it actually. Okay, let even this also get installed. So we were talking about the slim images. We'll come back to that. Let me first install it, guys. So after doing that, you need to use one command, sudo usermod hyphen capital AG, and then say Ubuntu, and then say Docker, right? Oh, sorry, Docker Ubuntu, right? So you have made the Ubuntu user as part of the Docker group. Actually, that's what you have to use this command actually, right? So for the safer side, guys, once you just exit out once, right, and then try to relog in again, right? Now when you try to do a Docker info, you could see that the Docker is installed, right? Okay. Now let me remove this install. I don't need it. Let me go to the Spring Pet Clinic. Here, what you do that if you run a command, clean package. Now I think it should go fine because you are having some larger server. This has to build your Spring Pet Clinic application. So let it go because it takes some time, right? Meanwhile, what I was trying to say here that actually that we can use this image, no doubt in that. You can even use an OpenJDK image. But what I'm saying that usually what happens in the organization will always go with some kind of a slim images actually. Slim image is something like which a lightweight image. It will not take that much of disk space. Actually, it's a very small image. Now, for example, if I'm trying to take a Ubuntu 24.04 image, the size of the disk size would be it will approximately come around something 700 MB or 750 MB. We will see later what is the size which occupies actually. So this is a kind of a Linux image actually. It's a Linux image actually. Now, Rajesh, is there any kind of a alternative image there where it is like a Linux image itself, but it will be lightweight compared to this? Yes, sir. We have something as an Alpine image actually. If you try to download the Alpine image and if you try to go to the disk size, right, it will show around something like 50 MB or 70 MB, something like that. 50 MB it will show. So you could see that it is actually one tenth of the size of whatever the Ubuntu image you have it. So whenever you are trying to run any application in the Ubuntu image actually, which is occupies 750 MB plus the plus also you can even include the image, you can even include the application jar file also as a size actually. If you try to take it and if you try to run on the Ubuntu, no doubt your application will run or no doubt your Docker container will run. But can I run in a very lightweight image? You can even run the same application even using Alpine also. So guys, it is always a best practice that when we are writing any Docker file, we have to use the base image which are in lighter size actually, which are in lighter size. Am I clear, sir? So now what I will do, guys, like right, let it build actually. What I will do that I will do one thing. I will try to have the same instance of the same thing. I will try to relog in the same instance, the same server, and let me log in it. Let me copy the public IP. Come over here. Sorry, here, right? Now, let me do one thing. Let me try to create one directory, mkdir test directory. Get inside a test folder, test directory, right? And let me write one Docker file, right? So what I will use that I will use I'll use a from. I'll use a Ubuntu, the same thing, 24.04, right? And I'll be running something like a CMD, something echo something hello. So we know that we are using the CMD instruction. Now, when you try to build an image of this Docker file and then like we try to run it, basically what happened, you're going to run your Ubuntu container, but inside it you have a CMD. This will only execute this instruction and immediately it will exit out. Immediately it will exit out, right? It means that it will just try to run this instruction and then immediately exit out, right? So now let me save this file. Sorry, let me save this file. And then like I'll try to build this image. So you have to use a Docker image command, image build hyphen T. Let me know the, let me give the image name as test colon one, something or test colon one, and then say dot and say enter. So I could see that guys, right, what is it actually? What I use a CMD. Yeah, sorry, I have to give the space here. I didn't give the space here, right? Now again, I try to build this application, build this image actually. Now, after building this application, guys, when I try to do a Docker image ls, you could see that actually that you got this image test colon one, and you could see that the image size is 29.7 MB, something like that. Actually, you got it actually, right? So this is the size of the image which you created right now. Am I clear, sir?
Yeah, yes, Raj, yeah.
Yeah, good. Now the point here is that actually that Rajesh, you did it okay, fine. You have this Docker file. Can I use instead of Ubuntu? Can I use an Alpine? Yeah, just see it. Instead of this, remove this Alpine. So as I said, Alpine is also kind of a Linux image only. Just see the image size, then you'll get to know. Say this file, and what I will do that I will try to build an image. So this time I'll give test colon two. I'll give actually. Am I clear, sir? Test colon 2 I'll give and say enter. So we're building an image now with the help of an Alpine instead of Ubuntu. Let's see the size. What is the size? So if I try to do a Docker image ls, you could see that the test 2 where you have used Alpine. Can you see the image size? The disk is 3.8 MB only. For the test 2, it is 29 MB, approximately 30 MB, but here it is 3.8 MB. So this image which you created, right, with the help of an Alpine, it is a lightweight image actually. The disk usage also it is showing that test one it is using 117 MB to use, but like for the test two colon two it is 13 MB only, right? So usually we concentrate on this content size, guys. This is what this size. This is a container size actually, content size. This is what we'll always go through it actually. You could see the difference actually. So instead of using Ubuntu 24.04, I'll always go with an Alpine, right? While I'll go with larger image size. Similarly, what you're doing that here, you could see that guys, it got succeeded in my Linux machine, and you could see that under the home Ubuntu Spring Pet Clinic, under that the target folder, under that Spring Pet Clinic 4.0.0 hyphen jar file got created actually, right? This is what it created. Am I clear, sir? So it took around it could approximately 3 minutes it took, but yeah, eventually we got this build actually. Right? So now the question comes right here. Rajesh, when I'm using Amazon Corretto 17, yeah, this will run no problem. Do you have any kind of a lightweight image from the Amazon Corretto itself? Yeah, we'll go here. We'll go to the here to the official hub.docker.com Amazon Corretto. Just come down, guys. Can you see somewhere as an Alpine? See hyphen 8 Alpine 3.0. Yeah, this is something. This is the lightweight image actually. No doubt I'm using Amazon Corretto 17, but 17 might have some size. But if I try to use some kind of an Alpine image of that same Amazon Corretto, I might get a lesser size compared to this image actually, which I'm using it. Whichever which I'm using, right? This might have more size compared to the Alpine actually. 100%. Alpine is always lighter image size compared to the actual image actually standard image what what your hub.docker provides actually, right? So we will try to see all those things, guys, like the lighter weight image and all everything in our upcoming sessions. We will be learning about how to do that, right? So let us do one thing. Let us try to go and try to run this docker file and see it how it works actually, right? So now what I will do, guys, I will try to I will try to do it. So now if you go over here and if you try to see here, let me close this. I don't need this. You could see that here also you could see that the target folder is created. Under target folder the Spring Pit Clinic 4.0.0 is there. I think it's the same version 4.0.0. Okay, right? I'm copying to slash, right? I'm copying to under this slash I'm copying it actually, and I expose it, right? Now what I will do that I will try to run call a cmd command, cmd space. So I will, when I want to run it, I have to say java, right, comma hyphen jar, comma, and provide this complete one slash spring boot clinic 4.0. Copy it, paste it here. Am I clear, sir? So it means that you're building this image, right? And you're running this application with help of a Java command actually, right? So what we'll do thing, we'll copy the whole thing. I'll go back to my Linux machine here. right? I think I've logged out. So let me log in again, right? And here I'll go to the Spring Pit Clinic, right? And what I will do here, guys, what I will do that I will try to write a Docker file here. I'll just say Docker file. So because I'm writing inside the source, right, I have to write a Docker file and then paste this entire thing. So I'll copy it again, paste over here. Am I clear, sir? And I'll say this. I'll say this. So now what happened that you need to build this image actually. So for that, let me do one thing. Let me do a Docker image ls. You could see that these images are there, guys. I don't want to have all these images. So let me do this. I'll remove all these images. Docker image rm-f. I will use something like a test1:1 test2. Just for your experiment, I'll show it, but I don't really need it actually. I'm not sure how this came actually. How this came, I don't know really, but I don't let it be as it is. I'll remove all this. So if it is a Docker image ls, you could see that you don't have those images removed, right? And also let me check the disk space also, df-h. You could see that 5.4 GB is used, 18 GB is available. It means that disk wise, I'm good actually. I don't have any disk issue now, right? And also it is 2.medium. I'll get two virtual core CPU. So when you're trying to do a build image also, I don't think that I'm going to get any kind of a failures, right? That's what I choose T2.medium as a instance type actually, right? If you go back to your here, you could see that T2.medium is a instance type which you used it actually. This is what I need actually, right? For this examples, guys, you have to use some higher image. So now what I will do that, guys, I will try to run a Docker build command to build this image actually. So I'll just say Docker image build build -t. Let me use the something of Spring Pit Clinic, and we know that the version of the Spring Pit Clinic. What is the version, guys? It is 4.4.0, 4.0.0, right? So let me use the same name, 4.0.0, something like this, space dot, and set enter. Okay. So I think the build is completed, guys. So if you go to the Docker image ls, you could see that actually you have built an image Spring Pit Clinic 4.0.0, and you could see that the size is about 277 MB. The size is 277 MB. Right now, because you know that you use this Amazon Corota 17, okay, I'll do one thing. I'll try to copy this. I'll try to pull this image also. Try to copy this. Try to copy. I mean, take the copy and just do a Docker pull and just do this Amazon Corota. I think it will not. It will download it because already Spring Pectin also has this one, right? It will not do anything. It says that it's already existing. It says it will already existed. The image is there. See, it's already there, right? Nothing is there. When I try to do Docker image ls, you could see that you got an Amazon Corota 17, right? You got an Amazon Corota 17, and you could see that size is 221 MB. But your Spring Pectin which you built out, right? That was 277 MB. It means that you need to even check the size of the this also, right? Like Spring Pet Clinic, right? If you go over here and if you try to go to the target folder, you have a Spring Pet Clinic, right? This is the jar file. And if you try to do a disk usage, disk command, dufnhs, Spring Pet Clinic. So it is approximately, what is it, the size it is coming? It is approximately coming around 66 MB, right? So when I try to do a Docker image ls, guys, what you can make out that this Amazon Corota itself is 221 MB plus the 66 MB. If you add on, it will come approximately 277 MB. So it means that this image SPC, right? It has a Corota. Inside the Corota, even you have your Spring Pet Clinic.jar file is also copied inside it. That's what if you go here, if you try to see, you add it, right? You use the add command, add instruction to copy the Spring Pet Clinic jar file into your image inside the image. That's what this image size is Spring Pet Clinic which you built, right? It is 277 MB. Am I clear, Naveen? Did you understood?
Yeah, yes, Raj. Yeah.
Right? It means that this is the image size, the actual image size, but inside it you have this spring plating jar file also. This is 66 MB. It will come approximately 277 MB. Yeah, that means that it is perfectly fine. Our calculation is fine. right? Now my question comes that Rajesh, can you run this application and check it out? Yes, sir, you can run this application now. So come out from this. Okay, and you have a Docker image ls. This is the image actually Spring Clinic 4.0. Let me run this image. So to run it, you will just say Docker container run, right? I will go with the detached mode and I will use -f name. I'll just say SPC1 and I will use the -p for port forwarding. And what is the size? What is the image name? SPC colon 4.0.0, right? 4.0.0. Guys, there's a lot of fluctuation is happening. Okay, let it go. No problem. Okay. And they'll say, I'll just say run this. So it has created the container. So if I try to do a Docker container ls, you could see that your Spring Pectronic is running and you could see that it is using the port number 32771, right? Let me check whether I'm able to access that application Spring Pectronic. So I'll try to copy the public IP, go over here and give the port number 32771, right? 32771 and say enter. You could see that your Spring Pectronic application is running. Am I clear, sir?
Yes, Rajesh. Yeah.
Right. So you're able to run that application. Good. Okay. Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me come back here. Guys, I did the changes in the Spring Pectronic, right? So let me do one thing. I'll just say git status. What is a git status? I have added this Docker file. So let me do one thing. Just say git add dot enter. I'll just say git commit -m. What is it? Added a Docker file, right? And I'll just say this is fine. Okay. And they'll say git push actually. Okay. And I'll go over here. I'll go to Spring. What is a branch actually? It's a main, right? So git origin, git push origin. I'll just say main. So obviously it'll ask me for the username. So my username is mail Rajesh SRE. And it'll ask me for the password. That is nothing but the token. Come over here, copy this token and paste it here and say enter. So you could see that guys, you have pushed your code into your repository. So go over here and try to refresh it, right? You could see that you have your Docker file here. See, you have a Docker file. So click on it. This is your Docker file. One second, Navin, 1 second. I think it's too much fluctuating. 1 second. The power is too much fluctuating here. Wait. Okay. Okay, fine. So you're able to run your Spring Pectronic using this base image Amazon Correte, right? But Rajesh, is this is okay for us to run your application under Amazon Correte 17? I mean, yeah, okay. But in the real time, no, this is not the correct way. This is not the correct way of doing or writing a Docker file because as of now, you're using the Amazon Correte as a base image. So this itself is not correct because it's a huge size. So as I said, right, if you try to calculate, if you try to go and check the image size, you could see that it is consuming 277 MB actually. So 277 MB is nothing but you are nothing but the size of that image actually. Right. So in this 277 MB is a very large image actually. We can't use that size image in the real-time production environment. Right. Okay, we'll go back here and then like if you go over here, yeah, this is what the commit you did, guys. If you click on this commit ID, yeah, this is what the commit you did actually. So what I will do that, I'll just copy this, the complete thing. I'll just say that I'll go to the notes. So what we're doing that to run a Spring Boot application. So right, and then like what we are doing, right, we have build the package locally, right, by using that mvn a clean package. That's a command we executed, right, and right. So using the Docker file in the change set. So what is the URL? This is a URL. This is a GitHub URL. So if you try to go and You can go and check this by just clicking this URL actually, right? Go back, right? Okay, good, sir. Okay, what we did that we have built the Docker image which copies the jar file into the Docker image. Am I clear, sir?
Yes, Rajesh.
Okay, now the question comes, Rajesh, as you have been keep saying that you can use this image, but in the real time and the real practice, this is not the correct way because you are using some image which is a very large size. So do you have any kind of a slim size or which we can use it actually? Yes, we can use it. So what we will do that, let me take a help of ChatGPT and let's try to understand whether I can get any kind of a slim image actually. So guys, one important thing which you have to see that actually that when you are using a Java package, when you're using OpenJDK, okay, Java provides uh, two versions actually. One is the OpenJDK versions actually. What is this OpenJDK versions? Basically, this is for the developers actually. It means that whenever the developer want to develop the application, like the Java application, and they need a Java environment, so obviously they will try to install the OpenJDK version because it has all kind of a utility for the developer to develop that application. But there is something known as an OpenJR is also there. OpenJR version. This will give a runtime Java environment, Java environment to run the application. Right. So it means that this doesn't have any kind of a other utility or certain things where you will find in OpenJDK. You won't find all those things in OpenJRE, right? So JRE is a kind of a lightweight runtime environment. It has only an executable or runtime environment. You can't go and develop any kind of an application by installing OpenJRE, right? But OpenJDK, yes, of course, you will get the utility, everything to develop it. So developer go will always will go with the OpenJDK version only because they want to develop the application. But when you're running an application, you can even run in OpenJDK also. No doubt, it will provide the environment. So what happened? The developer used it, right? But OpenJR is something which you can run an application directly in the OpenJR, by installing OpenJR. So for us, actually, why we need an OpenJDK? Because we don't do any kind of development, right? We DevOps engineer don't do any kind of a coding, right? Then why we need an OpenJDK then? We can go with the OpenJRE only, right? Right? OpenJRE is lightweight compared to OpenJDK. That's what we will go with the OpenJRE, Java versions only will go, right? So for that, what happened? All these days, what I'm using OpenJDK colon 17 or Amazon Corete colon 17. I'm using it. I'm using this. This is a kind of a development environment only. But I don't need this, right? I need a lightweight. So is it something where if I use the GRE, will I get lighter weight compared to the OpenJDK developer version? Even that also let us see now, right? So for that, what I will do that I will go to the Chat GPT. Let me take a help of Chat GPT and I will give something like give me the base image of JRE 17, which is slim and popular. Let's say, guys, let's see what ChatGPT gives us the answer. Okay, so it says that recommended slim or runtime base images are nothing but Eclipse Terminal 17 JRE Alpine. You can use from Eclipse Terminal. Yeah, this is something which is good actually, which looks good actually. So this is very small Alpine based image, which says that Alpine. This is the Debian based actually, which is saying JRE slim, right? But here you could see that it is something like Alpine is there. It's an Alpine based, and but this is the Debian based actually, right? And if you come down for the Zulu runtime, something you can use this also. Very good. It's an OpenJDK GRE headless actually, and you will get lot of information, guys. Right. So I think that Rajesh, I can go with this actually. Right. I can go with this. Yes. I can go with this also. So what I will do here, guys, I'll go over here and I will try to open a Docker file. Let me copy this Docker file as a Docker file as a one because I will let me keep a copy of that. So let me open a Docker file and what I will do here instead of using this Amazon Corte, Let me remove this and try to run, what is it actually? Eclipse, this one. Okay, so you're using Eclipse terminal colon 17 hyphen GRE Alpine, you're using it actually, right? So now let me use this. Let us see like how it works actually. So when I try to do Docker image ls, I have this Spring Pattern 4.0.0. Fine, very good. Now what I will do that I'm going to build an image. So for doing a for this new one, what I'll do, I'll just do a Docker build image or Docker image build hyphen T. What is the thing, guys? You're going to do Spring Pet Clinic. I will give the same thing 4.0.0. I'll give something, and after that I will give something like an Alpine, just to differentiate, right? And I'll just say dot. So the build is done. When I try to do Docker image ls, you could see that, guys, Spring Pet Clinic 4.0.0 hyphen hyphen. See, you could see that the size is 129 MB. But whereas previously it is 277 MB, right? So it means that actually you have reduced up to 40-50%, you have reduced it actually, the size of the image, right? But still what happened, you need to run that application and check if the application is running or not, right? That also have to check, right? Just building an image is not sufficient. You have to even run it and you have to verify it also, right? And okay, I'll do one thing. I'll try to go with this, and because I use this image, right? Eclipse terminal, right? Let me even copy this and let me try to do a Docker pull. Let me check this. What is the size of the actual Alpine image, Eclipse terminals? So you pulled it. When I try to do a Docker image ls, you could see that, guys, Eclipse terminals, right? The size is 67, 66, 67.7 MB. Whereas the Amazon corridor, which you used earlier, was 221 MB. See, it's almost like 70% you have reduced the size also, right? And on top of that, you build an image of SPC 4.4.0.0 hyphen hyphen. This also is the size is 120 MB, right? So 67 MB plus the image of Spring Mechanic is almost 60 MB. It'll approximately come to 120 MB, right? So it means that, Rajesh, I created this new image now, which is a base. It's a very like the size of the like base image is very small compared to the Amazon corridor. So let us try to run the Docker container, whether it will run out or not. Let us see. So for that, let me do a Docker container ls. Let us see whether my previous is running. Yeah, it is still running. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll try to run again. Docker container run. Okay, and I'll use a hyphen d detach mode hyphen fn name. Okay, I'll do one thing. Earlier I used SPC1, right? I will use SPC2 like this. I'll use it. Okay, and I'll use hyphen p port forwarding. I'll use hyphen capital P, and I have to give the image name actually. Spring Plet Clinic SPC colon 4.0.0 hyphen hyphen. This is what the image name I'll have to give. Am I clear, sir? Now, when I try to run this container, when I try to do a Docker container ls, you could see that actually your container is running now. And it is using the port number 32772. Let me go and verify whether it works or not. So I'll go over here. Already it is running. So I'll try to copy the same thing. Come over here. And instead of 771, it is 772, right? Let's check whether the Spring plugin is working or not. Yeah, it is taking time, but eventually it will get loaded up. Okay. Yeah, you could see that it has loaded, guys. 32772. So it means that earlier using Amazon Corote, right? This image, earlier using Amazon Corote, you run it, but the size of the image was larger. But now what happened? The same application I'm able to run with the help of an Alpine, right, with the help of an alpine image. So when I try to do a cat Docker, you could see that I'm using a alpine image. See, GRE alpine image. So is this not the correct way that we use this image now? Yes, we can use image this. We can even use this image because anyhow, my eventually my requirement is that I have to run my application. That's all. So since you are running the application even using this image, base image, why don't I use this image, right? Because this is the lightweight image, right? And you also saw that when I try to do Docker image ls, it is occupying the less disk compared to the previous one, right? Yeah, this is what I needed. So I'll do one thing. Let me do a git status. Let me push this. So I have these two files, no problem. I'll just say git add dot git push, not push, git commit hyphen m. What is it? Modified Docker file. Okay. And then say git push origin mail. So username is mail Rajesh Sari. The password is the key. Where is the key, guys? This is a token actually, which I need to give it actually. Enter. Right now you pushed it. Go here and go back to your GitHub and then try to refresh it. So now you could see that actually, right? You got this Docker file which has this modified version, right? And also you have your old one also, which I have kept as a Docker one, right? This also there, which is nothing but which uses this Amazon Corridor. Both it has it actually. Fine. And you can go and click on this commit ID, right? This is what the difference you find it actually. Right, sir? Right? So let me copy this URL. Go to the your okay. Refer for the sorry. Refer for the changes to use the slim version or alpine version. Is it fine? Navin, is it fine till here?
Yes, Rajesh, yeah.
Are you finding interesting?
Yes, Rajesh, very much, yeah.
Fine, good. Now if you come back here and if you try to do Docker image Docker container ls or Docker ps, whatever the command, you could see that guys, you are running these two images, SPC1 and SPC2. Fine. Now my question is that, okay, with what user this Spring Pet Clinic SPC2 image is running. So let me check. For doing that, what you do that you run a command Docker container exec. We can use it. Okay, exec, and I'll give the image. I'll give the container name as SPC2, and let me run a command something was a who am I. You could see that guys, this container which is running in SPC2, it is running as a root user. It means the root user itself is running your application. Okay. And also what I will do that I will try to execute the same command. Now I will try to do something like pwd, where it is running under which directory your application is running. And I try to do a pwd, you could see that it is running under the slash. So we know that in Linux, slash is nothing but it is your root file system. It means that it is an ultimate directory from where the file system starts, right? Slash, right? Now the concern is that actually that Rajesh, when you are running your application as a root user, and when you're running application as a root user, plus you're running your application being a part of the root file system, is it not a security loophole? Yes, it's a security loophole, guys. Because whenever you are running any application, guys, never ever try to run as a root user. That's the first point, right? Because if a hacker try to get into, when they try to get inside a container, if you try to get inside a container, he will get a root access. And with the root access, he can able to do anything. He can even go and delete all the files. He can able to replace your image. He can do anything. So this is a security vulnerability issue. Plus, you are running as a part of the slash. So it means that you shouldn't run your application being as a part of the root file system. You should run in some other directory structure, like something like a slash usr you can run, or slash opt you can run, or you can even run your application under slash temp. Anywhere it is, apart from the slash, you can run your application in any directory structure. Right. So always it is recommended that whenever you're running any Java application, never ever run as a root user and never ever run under the slash, because it leads to a security issues actually. Right. So now, what are the best practices? It is not recommended to run your application as root user, right? And also, it is not to recommended to run your application under slash, means root directory. Right? It is not recommended to run your application under application appc application under the slash or the root directory. So why they don't recommend it? Because guys, what happened, right? Like sometime back, actually, what has happened, right? Like for Java based application, like for the Java based application, where to write, man? I don't know where to write it. Yeah, I can write it here itself, because I'll write here only. Right. See, basically what happened for the Java based application, what happened, right? Java based application, it generates or it creates a lot of logs actually. Creates a generates a lot of logs actually. Lot of different types of logs it generates. How the Java managed all these logs? Actually, there is something known as a log4j is there in your Java. With the help of that, actually, what happened, right? All the logs are managed or maintained actually. So basically, what happened? One certain version of the Java actually, which had a log4j version, the log4j had some kind of a vulnerability issue. It has some kind of a security vulnerability issue actually. So if you go here, if you go to the Google and if you say the log4j, what is it? Security vulnerability, right? So, yeah, this is what actually what happened. Log4j's vulnerability issue was there in one of the version. So what happened, right? With that log4j, particular log4j vulnerability issue, the hacker used to what happened, right? All your logs and all, right? It was generated as a part of the root user itself. So one of the issue with one of the log4j version was that actually the hacker was able to log into your server, application server, using the log4j actually, because it has some kind of a security issues actually. He was able to hack, he was able to log into your application server itself with the help of a log4j, and then he used to go and kill all kind of an application which is running in your server actually. So that was one of the very issue was there, because that log4j was running as part of the root only actually. So hence what happened, right? What they try to, the developer, they try to fix all those issues from the log4j, and they said that okay, now we will not be running all our Java based application as a root or as under the slash. Now we will be running as a non-root user actually, or will be you running under some other user, right? Right? Now my question comes, Rajesh. Now, how we are going to improvise this now, right? We have been running now. So now what happened, right? Now what we'll do that, because we need to address this two issue, guys, because we have to address this issue where you are running your application as a root user. You shouldn't run it, okay? And also you should not run your application under slash itself. Now, how we are going to address this issue? Okay. Now let's do think from now onwards. Let's always have the application directory. It means that Rajesh, I will not be running my application as a slash. I will be having my application directory, right? So to have an application directory, guys, to have your application directory, there is one important instruction is there. Okay, let me try to close all these things. Okay, I have something known as a, if you come down, in the Docker instruction itself, you have something known as a work dir. Change the work directory. So click on it. Yeah, you can able to do use a work dir instruction, and plus you can give the complete path. Okay. So what we have in that, we are having one work dir instruction. This is what it is. And then like I will be using it actually. So I'll be using this. So this is what I'll be using it actually. Right. So for that, what happened, right? I have to go back here. Mm, I think I exited out, right? Yeah. Spring Pet Clinic, ls. So let me know thing. Let me try to copy again this one, the Docker file as a Docker file -2 because I need that one also. I'll open the Docker file. Okay. So what I will do, guys, here after this label right here, what I will do that I will try to use something as a work dir. Okay. Let me run my application as usr share, and I'll create a directory something like SPC here. So I'll be running over here actually. Am I clear? Right? And the same thing what happened, right? While copying it, what you will do that you will try to copy it here, here under the, what is it? Under the /usr share SPC. Here you'll be running. And the same thing while running this Java by calling the CMD, here also you have to give that usr share SPC. Navin, is it fine, Navin? So you're
Yes,
not running as
Rajesh.
a,
Yeah.
you're not running as a slash. Now you're running under this path actually. So I did some changes over here and here, and let's see whether it will build or not. Right? So I'll save this file. Sorry, where I did the changes, man. Yeah, sorry. I'll save this file. And now what I will do that I have a Docker image build -t. Before that, let me check what is the Docker images I'm having. Docker image ls. Sorry, image ls. I'm having a Spring Pet Clinic 4.0.0 Alpine is there. Okay, I'll use the same thing. Okay, what I'll do that I'll just say Docker build, Docker image, build build -t. I'll use Spring Pet Clinic :4.0.0 Alpine. I'll use -1. I will use something. I'll give him this name just to differentiate actually, right? And I'll say dot because I'm using this work there, or else you can use something. I can use like this also just to verify, but I'm not requirement. I'll give some small name like this. So I'm building this image, right? The build is the image is done. So when I try to do a Docker image ls, you could see that actually you got one more image SPC :4.0 Alpine. Size wise, it is same, guys. There is nothing, no changes actually, because that you're not doing any changes. Hardly you added that. What you added, just you added this. Hardly you added this line actually. Like it doesn't really consume that much space actually, right? These are the changes you did it. But let's see whether it runs or not, right? So what I will do that I will try to run this container again, Docker PS. If I try to do that, there are two containers already running, fine. So I'll try to run one more container with this new image, Docker image ls that I need it, and then I'll just say Docker container run like -d capital P -f name. I'll just say SPC3, right? SPC3, and I'll give this image. So running a container. So when I try to do a Docker container ls, you could see that your SPC 4.0.0 -hyphen -1 is running, and it is using the port number 32773. So it's already running, right? I'll go here. I'll try to copy this, open one more tab, and try to give a 773. Now your Spring Boot Clinic is running, no doubt. It is running, right? Now the thing is that now you have to go and check it out. Like what you're going to do here, you're going to do, you're trying to do is Rajesh Docker container, exec, the Spring Clinic SPC3, right? That is a container name, right? Container name, and just to do a PWC. You could see that, guys, you are running your application under slash or share SPC. Earlier, what happened in for your SPC2, you are running under slash, which is not recommended. Now you are running under a different path actually. Yeah, this is what one of the important things which is recommended, which is required. Why you have to do this? Because otherwise, when you try to run your application, and if your application is running a container being a slash, as well as the root is a user who is running. Suppose, for example, tomorrow you are using some kind of a security tools. Like for example, if you are using the tool by name Trivy tool, if you are using it actually, and when you're trying to run a Trivy tool on this actually, when you're trying to run a private tool. I will be showing that also. Private secure tool if you are using it actually, right? And you are giving the source of this SPC2 one, which is there, right? If you're giving the source, if you're running, you are under your source of SPC2, which is there, right? So what happened automatically? What happened? The private tool will throw the errors actually saying that actually your image is running, your image built with the root user, and it runs under the slash actually. It will throw error actually like that. So with that security tools also, or I can even use a Docker Scout tool also. Docker Scout tool also will throw the same error actually saying that your image which you are running, right, it is running as the root user, which is not recommended. And also you are running under the slash, that again it is not recommended. Hence what happened, right? Before you try to run any kind of a security checks, right, make sure that you don't build that application, right, where the root user is used actually and where that application runs at a slash. So don't do that. Instead, what you have to do that, you have to use that work DAR, right? This is the instruction you have to use it to make sure that you are running your application under some other path actually or some other directory structure. But still what happened, right? Still our one of the other issue which has not been addressed now. So what is that actually? If you try to do a Docker container exec SPC3, and I'll just say who am I? Still you could see that you are running as a root user only. One second, guys, 1 second. Clean ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಿ. So the first one of the issue is addressed, but the second is we have not yet fixed this issue. Let us see that how to make sure that it runs as a non-root. Navin, is it fine, Navin? Did you understood?
Yeah. Yes, Raj.
PWD, we are running under this path. That is fine. But whereas with which user you are running the SPC3? So if you try to do a Docker PS, you are running this SP3 still as a root user only. Even all these things, SPC1, which are running container, SPC2, or even the SPC3, all these three containers which are running, it is running as a root user only. But as I said, right, it is not recommended to run as a root user. You have to run as a non-root user actually. So for that, what you are going to do it actually. Okay, guys. Now what I will do that I did modify right now, right? The Docker file. Let me first push it actually. When I try to do a git status, you could see that these are the file changes. Okay, fine. I'll do a git add dot git commit -m modified Docker file to add or to use work dir instruction. That's what. All right. And I'll just say git push origin main. So mail Rajesh SRE, enter. And the code for this is the token. Where's the token? Is it fine? I pushed it, right? So go over here, just try to refresh it. So now you have a Docker file which has the work dir. Can you see it? Right? And if you go back here and if you click on this commit ID, you could see that these are the changes which you have did it. So with this, right, what happened? These are the file changes sets actually we say. So, okay, refer for the file change set. Clear? Now my question comes here. You might have one more question here. Uh, Naveen, you can ask one more question here. Rajesh, when you create this Docker, okay, fine. You gave a workday as slash user SPC. Okay, understood. But again, why did you give here also slash user SPC? Again, why did you give here also? Is it really required or not? Because once you do a work DR, it means that your work DR is something like a CD. CD to this path actually, right? So in that case, it means that you have already been there in this path. Then do you have to really give all these things? It's not really required, man, actually, right? For example, if you can still remove and you can run it actually. Is it fine? So once you are doing a work DR and this path, it means that you are already inside this path. Then there is no need to give explicitly here as well as here also. It's not required.
Yeah,
Okay?
Rajesh. Yeah,
Yeah,
understood.
good. Save this. Again, open this. Yeah. So now what happened? Okay, this is what it is done. Fine. Good. We have did it. Okay. Let me do one thing. Here, when I try to do a Docker image ls, I know that I am having so many images. If you are having any kind of a scarcity in your disk sizes, you can remove it whenever you need it. If when I try to do a Docker image rm-f, let me remove this Amazon Corridor man, which I don't need it actually. Okay, just to make sure that things works properly. Otherwise, simply it will throw error like while building it, right? So when I try to do Docker image ls, now you could see that you have removed all those things, and even you can remove even this also. Spring Pectronic 4.0, this also you can remove it if you want it. You can remove it. Yeah, no problem. I'll remove it, man. I don't need it actually. Docker image ls, Docker image rm-f. You can even remove this also to make sure that there is no disk space issue. Let this be remaining as it is. I want to do for the comparison version. I need this one, right? At least let me have all these things. Good. Now, what about the Docker container uh, ls? You are having Spring Platinic 1, Spring Platinic 2, and Spring Platinic 3. I don't even need SPC1 and SPC2 which are running, man. I will stop that. Docker container stop SPC1. Docker container stop SPC2. Right? Docker container rm-f SPC1. Docker container rm SPC2. Fine. So I have only Docker PS. That is only one container which is running, which is SPC3. Is it fine, Navin, till here? So why I did all those things? I did just kind of a cleanup activity to make sure that my server is running in a healthy state. Because I'll be doing many more other examples, right? So it'll unnecessarily pile up with all those things, right? So that's what I'm just removing everything. Am I clear, sir?
Yes, Rajesh. Yeah.
Good. So fine. Now, what I will do that now my main concern is that actually that Rajesh, I want to run as a non-root user, right? That is what I needed actually. Fine. For that, what I will do that I don't think I will not do it here. I'll come out from the Spring Technique. I don't think I'll run it here itself. Somewhere I can run it. So let me don't think. Let me run something like I want to run an Alpine container. Okay. For that, what I will do that I will try to do a Docker container run. I will use something as an Alpine. So let me do one thing. Let me log into this Alpine -it interactive terminal. And for Alpine, always you have to give /bin/sh because it doesn't have the bash, right? So I have to always give /bin/sh whenever you are running an Alpine image container. So when I try to run this, so it is downloading this Alpine image, and then like you could see that you are inside your Alpine image. Am I clear, sir? Right. Now the question comes that this is because this is Alpine is a plain Linux image actually. Right. So Now the question comes that Rajesh, how I have to create a user account inside this Alpine image? So I can you create a user account by using a add user command. Okay, by using a add user command. Okay, or else by using a user add command. Let's see whether you have a user add command. User add command Alice. User add command doesn't exist. I think you have add user actually. So add user is there. Or else what I will do that I will go and I will try to go to the I'll go to the what is it actually? I'll go to the chat GPT only. So what I will do that how to create a user in Linux. Okay. So it is saying that you can use a command as a user add command. I think we already tried out with that user add command. It's not working. It says that this command not found. Fine. Is there any other way to create it? Okay, user add is there. Come down. Add user is there. Okay, I can try out with the add user. Fine. So let me do it. Let me go here and try to use a add user, and I'll give something like an Alice. Enter. So now you could see that this command is there. Okay. So you have to give the password. I'll give password as 123. Enter. 123. Enter. So you created the user by name Alice. How to verify it? Whether the user is created or not? I can say cat etc passwd. If you open this file, you could see that Alice user has been created. And the home directory for the Alice is slash home Alice. And is using a SH shell. ಅಮ್ಮ ಯಾವ ಫ್ಯಾನ್ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದೀರಾ ನಾವು ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಯಾವುದು ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ so you see that actually that this is the home data and this is the shell you got it and this is the user Alice got created. Yeah, it means that we are able to create the user account inside your image by using a add user command actually, right? So it's a good thing that okay we got some command actually, but the thing is that guys, when you're creating a user account, you also saw that like I gave the password also, right? So if I try to do an add user and I'll just say Bob, see it is asking for the password for me. I have to give the password. But when you're trying to create a user account with the help of this image, a Docker image, if I'm trying to run, if I'm trying to use a user add command, because inside this image, I want to create an account actually. I want to create a user account. But do you think that when you're trying to run that, when you're trying to run your Docker container, do you think that you have to give the anything like that? Actually, it means that Rajesh, I want to create some kind of a user, but without the password. Without the password. So is there any way to create a user account without password? Yes, sir. So what I will do that I will go to the chat GPT and I'll just try to say something over here. I'll just say how to, sorry, man, how to use add user command to create a user without prompting for password. Let's see if chat GPT gives me some answer. Okay. So here it says that actually that you can use the hyphen disabled password and the username, something like that they're given. It's good that it has given some option for me. Come down. Okay, you can set something like user as password hyphen capital S username. Okay, and also like disable hyphen login. Okay, you got some option actually like add user hyphen disable password. Yes, this is something which looks good, which I can use it for my requirement, right? Fine. So now what I will do that guys. Okay, and there is something like a hyphen disable password. This option I can use it, man. Man, this is too much fluctuating actually. At my home. Hmm. One second, maybe. It's too much fluctuating at my home. Okay. So what I can do basically, I'll go back here and I'll try to do add user hyphen f and help. Let me check. So could see that actually, guys, you could be able to uh, create your user with this as a system user you can create, and also could see that hyphen d capital don't assign a password. So can I use these options? Yes, I can use these options now. So what I'll do, I'll just say add user hyphen capital D. It doesn't ask for any password. Okay, and also it says that your home directory can give it. Yeah, I can give hyphen H option. You know that I will create something like a slash USR share SPC, because that will be my kind of a home directory, right? And I can use something like shell actually as FNS, and I can use slash bin slash sh, right? And what is the username you are creating? I'll be creating a username something like an SPC, right? So you could see that you created a user by name SPC with the help of this option. So when I try to do a cat of etc password file, you could see that, guys, you created an SPC user. Okay, home directory slash user share SPC. This is what it is with the help of hyphen D, and it didn't ask for any password at all. I disabled the password by using hyphen capital D option, and you got the shell by name slash bin slash sh. So my question that Rajesh, can you use this command there? Yes, sir, you can use this command there. Did you understood? Now, if you, how do you verify it? Actually, you created it, but if you go over here, if you go to this path, cd2 slash usr share, and if I try to do an ls-l, can you see SPC folder got created? And you could see that who's the username, SPC, username, and group name is also SPC. It means that whatever the SPC user you are creating, right, you created with this home directory. This, so this is a home directory by default got created it, and the username is SPC, and the group name is also SPC. Or it means that we are able to achieve it by using this command actually. Is it fine, Naveen? Did you
Yes,
understood?
Rajesh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
It's
interesting.
simple,
Yeah.
right? So can I, Rajesh, I'll exit out from there. I will go back to my Spring Pit Clinic. I'll do one thing. I'll try to copy this Docker file as a Docker hyphen 3. Open this Docker file. Here, what I will do that, I will try to use a run command. Run. I want to create a user, right? So what is the user? What is the command actually? It's a add user. I'm sorry. Add user hyphen capital D hyphen small h. What is that? Slash USR share SPC space hyphen small s, right? And the shell s slash bin slash sh. And I have to give the username as SPC. Is it fine? And remaining all these things are okay for me. Everything is as it is actually. Right? It means that when you are building this application, right, under this image, under this Eclipse terminals, whatever 170 or under this, let it create the username by name SPC, and it shouldn't have any password, and it should be the home directory should be of the SPC should be there under the SPC only. It means that you are running, you want to create a user by name SPC, and you want to run your application under your SPC user only. All this days it was running as a root user. Now you are running as a SPC user, right? Remain, all these things are as it is, no changes, nothing. Am I clear, sir? Now, after creating this user add, right, you want to run as an SPC user actually. For that, what happened, you have a Docker file instruction by name user. Can you come down here? If you go back here, and can you see something like user, set a user and the group ID? Yeah, I have to use this user. So user space username or the group name you have to give like this. So here, go back here, sorry, go back here, and you, after this run instruction, what you have to do, that you have to run you have to use user and say SPC. It means that all these below instructions, whatever you're having after this, right, it will run under the SPC user account, username. So this user SPC will be created under this image. Inside this image, this user will be created. Under this, what happened, right? Then later you have to use user instruction, Docker instruction, SPC, and all these instructions, whatever you're running, guys, it will be running as a part of the SPC user. Am I clear, sir? Right? Now, let me save this file. Docker image ls. Okay, this is the image you are having. Okay, and I can give SPC colon 4.0 dot alpha hyphen 2, I can give like this. So I'll have to build the command docker build uh, docker image build build hyphen t, right? So what is it? You will give SPC colon 4.0.0 hyphen alpine hyphen 2. You can give like this and say dot and say enter. So you're building one more image now, which has all those changes what you did in Dockerfile. Right, guys? So once you have did it, you could see that, you could see that while building it, you could see that it runs, it executes this line, it executes this line. See, it has executed everything, right? So now you got an image actually. So if you try to do a Docker image ls, now you could see that actually that you are having an SPC colon Alpine one, which was the older one, which is 129 MB. And this also is 120 MB because you're not doing any much changes in the code, right? So the same, the size would be remaining the same actually, right? When I try to do a Docker PS, you could see that you're running as an SPC3, the one. Okay, let me run one more container now with a Docker container run. Okay, hyphen D detach mode, hyphen capital P, hyphen FN name. I will give something like SPC4 and I'll give this image name SPC 4.0 alpine hyphen 2. Enter. So now if you try to do a Docker container ls, you could see that, guys, you're running this SPC4, which is using this image SPC colon 4.0 alpine 2 actually. And it is using the port number 32774. Go back here, try to copy it, 324. Now you are trying to access the same application with the other port, which is 334. And let's see whether you're able to access your application or not. See, you could see that your pet spin Tectonic is working again. Now the thing is that actually now you have to verify whether this is running as a SPC user or not. So for that, what you'll do that, you'll just say Docker container, okay, exec SPC4 and then say pwd where it is running under slash user SPC. Okay, whom am I? Who am I? See, you are running. Who am I means it is find not command not found. It's saying, but if you try to log into that actually, if I try to do a Docker container exec hyphen it, okay, and give a SPC4 slash bin slash sh. So you're inside your here. You are inside a container. Who am I? If I try to do it, you could see that you are running as an SPC user, right? PWD. See slash user share thing, right? 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 You are running your Java application here, right? With the PID1 as a SPC user, right? So this is more secure because you are running as a not as a root user, you are running as a SPC user, and this is the path where your application is been running actually. Am I clear? Okay, good. Let me know. Let me exit out and let me try to do git status, git add dot git commit hyphen m modified Docker file to add user, git push origin main, mail Rajesh Sari, enter, give the token, right? Now you could see, guys, if you go over here, if you try to go to your this one, refresh it, now you could see that you are having a Docker file with these changes now, right? Run add user, you added this command, right? And then use the user SPC, right? Okay, I can go and click on this commit. can able to see all the changes. Refer for file change set. Okay, good. Is it fine, Navin, till here?
Yes, Rajesh. Yeah.
Yeah. So, right. So what we did, right, for this is for the file changes set for the changes that creates a user by name SPC. Right? Okay, man. That's all for the day today. I hope that today's class was interesting for all of you, right? And in the next session today evening, I'll take the next session where we will be digging more into some more examples of how to write different Docker files actually, right? So this is a Docker file which we written. Yeah, but we'll be writing some more different types of Docker files, and also we will be incorporating a lot of things. And in today's session, what I'll be doing that I will be explaining about the CMD, and there's one more thing is known as an entry point is there. So where to use entry point, why to use that entry point also I'll be discussing in today's evening session, right? There are many other Docker instructions are there, guys. Like for example, if you go over here and if you try to go with the Docker instructions, you go back here, you have many other like volume is there, shell is there, stop signal is there, on build is there, label we have used it, health check is there, which we will be using it. All right. This and all certain other things are there which we will be using. Arg is there. So all these other instructions also we have to use in our Docker files. Actually. So all those things I will be covering in our all our upcoming sessions. Right? Fine. Thank you, Naveen. Let me stop the recording then. Do you have any doubts, Naveen, so far?
Rajesh, I have to practice it and I will let you know, Rajesh, in the
Sure,
evening session.
but
Yeah.
it was something, it was fruitful, right? You learn
Yeah,
whatever you
yeah, yeah.
know.
Learn so many things, Rajesh. Yeah.
So, whatever you know about the Dockerfile today, you are a little bit better than compared to yesterday's class, right? Or
Yeah,
compared to
yeah,
last class.
yeah.
Right? And we use this source code, Spring Pit Clinic. This is open source code. Similarly, in your organization, you will be using the source code which is developed by the developer. All right. And you need to do all those Git clone, everything, and there only you have to write a Docker file. Now, what you have seen that you have written a Docker file here only. So, being under the source code only here only you have written a Docker file. And this is what we use in an organization. We write a Docker file for where we'll write a Docker file where the source code exists actually. Right? Fine. Thank you, Don. Let me stop the recording.